How cool is this? I've got my own little room for recording things, and there's a microphone on the table. This is actually my room. I checked it out from the library, because you can check out rooms from the library here. How cool is that? I figured as long as I had this room checked out for doing one of my other projects for work, I may as well just use it to record my video today. Although I really need to be somewhere in like 5 minutes, and I still have to check out from this room. So I'm going to try and do this as quick as I possibly can. It's your shoplifter game. I was thinking about the fact that you probably don't want to glorify shoplifting because that might not be a very good thing. Just like I don't know how I feel about the whaling game because I don't want to glorify whaling, but it's really interesting. But anyways, so here's my thoughts. One of the things you could do would be similar to a game that I have called Saboteur, where at the start of each round, each player is dealt a card that either labels them as a gold digger or as a saboteur. And the object of the game is for the gold diggers to try and reach the gold, which is several spaces away, by laying out tunnel cards. Whereas the saboteurs are trying to prevent them from doing that by laying down like dead ends and breaking people's tools and whatnot. But if the saboteurs are outed as saboteurs, then all the gold diggers know and they'll break the saboteurs' tools and make it harder for the saboteurs to saboteur. So for your game, what you could have is you could have the guards and you could have the Robin Hood type people who aren't stealing from just the random store. Maybe they're stealing from a bad person who is stealing from other people or something. Or maybe they're trying to steal something that was stolen from them in order to get it back. So half of your players would be the thieves, and then half of your players would be the guards. So the guards and the thieves would look exactly the same to each other, but the thieves would know that they're thieves, and the guards would know that they're guards. So the thieves have to try and get the item without the guards realizing that they're trying to get the item. Maybe the guards have to do standard rounds or something, and maybe at some point there's some way to pick up the item without the guards realizing it. I really have no idea how that would work, but if you can figure it out, you should do that because that would be awesome. Alex, as you know, I studied radio television when I was in college, and so I have a degree in radio television, but now I'm studying public health, which is totally interesting because it's totally different from what I've done previously. But anyway, so my new job is having me do a whole lot of video production stuff, which is kind of awesome. At the same time, though, it's kind of terrifying because I have a lot of projects. Like, they want me to interview like 100 people on campus and ask them what they do for their jobs so that we can teach kids what people do for careers with science and the environment and whatnot, which I think is totally awesome and could be a great project. The downside being that I have to interview like 100 people while doing all my stuff for grad school, which is a lot of work. So I know I said I would keep a running tally of how many pages I've read and how many pages I've written, but the fact is that I've totally fallen way behind on keeping track of how many pages I've read and how many pages I've written because it takes time to do that, and I just don't have time to do it. Yet I have time to do this vlog, which is taking up a lot of my time. So at this point, I would estimate that I've probably written somewhere around 4 or 5 pages, but I've probably read somewhere around 300 to 400 pages in the past 4 weeks. So that's kind of awesome. So Alex, I now have 8 minutes to get to my meeting halfway across town, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. I think the shoplifting game would be fantastic if you could rework it so it's less of a shoplifting game and more of a Robin Hood stealing from the bad guys type game. I think that would be a good way to go about it. Maybe some kind of corporate espionage type thing where the evil crime lord or whatnot has stolen some valuable clock that means a lot to the local townspeople or something, and your people are trying to get it back from the bad guys. And so maybe the guards are innocent bystanders. So I mean, you don't want them to get hurt, but they're not bad people. So that everybody playing the game is a good person. It's just that the good guards happen to be working for the bad guy, and they're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to do their job. I mean, you got to pay the mortgage. Anyways, Alex, I'm looking forward to your discussion on publishing tomorrow. I, for one, think a lot of the publishing that goes on in the academic world is really, really twisted and strange because we pay our taxes to fund a lot of government grants for research to be done, and then the people doing all the research then try to publish it in all the famous journals, which get all of these papers funded by us for free, and then they're reviewed by volunteer academics who then don't really get a whole lot out of it than maybe a little bit of money. And then these journals are super expensive. It's like thousands and thousands of dollars for some of these really famous journals. And they get all this research that we paid for using our taxes and then charge us thousands of dollars for it. And that just doesn't seem fair. I mean, I have access to the journals through the school, but once I'm out of school, I won't be able to afford to get all those journals. So Alex, that's all I've got for today. I will see you tomorrow.